948, my man, when it comes to concealed carry, and I used to have a concealed carry permit, I didn't carry concealed for the sake of the bad guys. I carried concealed for the sake of everybody else, not to be worried about me having a firearm, and they didn't have to worry about it, out of sight, out of mind. I carried the concealed weapon for the bad guys, for the standpoint if I felt I needed it, I was going to use it, but I wasn't hiding it so that they wouldn't know if I had it or not. Kim Stolfer is with us. He's with Firearms Owners Against Crime, and there's a question that came in on my Dollar Bank Instant Access from Eric. He says, when it comes to the requirement of an individual in one state carrying their weapon in another state and abiding by their laws, well, if their laws require a course, a training course, and you don't have that, how could you possibly be abiding by their laws? What would your response be to that?
Because there's a difference between carrying a firearm where you can carry it and the issuance of the permits. And the carrying of a firearm is what they are requiring people to abide by, like restaurants serve alcohols and such. But the actual issuance process of your home state and the fact that you have a permit is what they must recognize.
Right. See, I think I would be more comfortable with the idea that if you were compelled to have to do as that state requires, that even though you're a resident of Pennsylvania, you can go ahead and carry, say, in Ohio, but you have to do as they require in Ohio for concealed carry. You're a resident in the state of Pennsylvania, you've been through the courses, you have the validation of all those things, then yes, you're then allowed to carry, whether they have a reciprocity agreement or not. I mean, what's wrong with a system like that?
Well, because it's cumbersome and it requires a person to have to know not only the where you can carry, but what the issuance of permits process is in each state you're going to travel through.
Well, you have to know where you can carry in each one of the states. What's the big deal about? I mean, if you were to go and figure out what the state was that had the highest requirements, and you did all that, then oh my goodness, it's not a problem driving through any place else, then, is it?
Well, there again, we're defeating the concept of the individual's home state issuing a permit, and now what you're doing is saying you have to have a permit essentially from every state because you have to go through their same process.
Right. But at least you're given the ability of an individual to go ahead and get that, because right now no state has to grant a permit from somebody else, correct?
That's correct.
I mean, if you wanted to have a permit from different states, you could. If there was a legislation that allowed that to take place, then you could. But see, I kind of like that one better, where you still have the states having the determining factor of who they're going to allow to carry in their state. Because right now you're telling them they have no control over that whatsoever.
Well,
with this legislation,
what would that actually stop? Because I know we talked about people acting improperly.
Right. Well, but Kim, let's be honest, okay? It isn't as though that people who have concealed carry permits don't commit crimes and don't shoot people. It isn't as though, oh my goodness, if we give everybody a concealed carry permit, that means we're going to get rid of all crime. That doesn't make any sense.
No, that doesn't.
No. So,
however, I want to point out something, though. The people that get a license to carry a concealed firearm, by and large, act more lawfully than not only the average citizen, but also than police officers. And that's a record readily found at the National Institute of Justice.
Based upon what?
Based upon surveys of criminal incidents, people with firearms. So, I mean, it's not like people with a license to carry a firearm all of a sudden begin committing crimes at a higher percentage, whether it's 0.1% or more. In general, these people have made a conscious decision to get that permit, and they recognize the responsibility that goes with it. And that's what's caused so many other states to enact licenses to carry firearms procedures, because of the lawfulness with which people pursue that particular activity.
Right.
And I would also point out that during the testimony on this, the Texas congressman that came in late told Chief Ramsey when he was talking to him, he said that when they passed their license to carry a firearms law down in Texas, they had experienced a dramatic drop in violent crime. And he went on to cite the statistics that the state had done. And this is replicated in many states, as evidenced by the research done in not only Professor John Lott, but 14 other national studies. So let's not lose sight of the fact that this isn't about what people do improperly. This is about stopping people from being harmed. And
well, the idea that concealed carry would have an impact on reducing crime, just because you allow concealed carry, if nobody actually concealed carry, but it was available to everyone, I could see how that would have an impact on dropping the crime rate, because all of a sudden maybe they are carrying. And then you have criminals that would think twice about personal crimes and then would instead maybe go to property crimes, or who knows, maybe give up a life of crime. But I think those are it's different than saying that because people were carrying concealed, that fact that they were carrying those weapons concealed had a negative impact on crime.
Well, that's actually what these 15 studies have shown, including one from a California newspaper.
You can actually show that an individual carrying concealed, that individual was able to reduce crimes that took place. Or individuals that were carrying were able to reduce crimes.
The enactment of these laws have been shown to markedly reduce violent crime in every area where it's been introduced.
Okay. All right. Kim Stolfer, I'm running out of time, but I do appreciate the time you've given me tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob.
Kim Stolfer, Firearms Owners Against Crime. Yeah, I'm not arguing that having a concealed carry permit or making it a law that people can do that would have an impact on the crime rate. Of course it will. Just by enacting the legislation would have that kind of an impact, because the bad guys would be apprehensive about committing crimes because they wouldn't know who is actually carrying or not.